Hello, 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 and I am back. We got kicked offline, and again by Spreaker. This does not happen only on Spreaker, only on live Spreaker, and it is a reoccurring thing. I mean, it is a reoccurring problem, and I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. And it's getting messages. You know, there's dead air. Okay, we're live. So it's like, you know, there's dead air. Well, yes. I mean we are kicked offline like every show. And I hear people, I hear other podcasters doing their shows. They do them without a hitch. No problem. No problem at all. So why is it that I have all new equipment, brand new equipment working at 100%? I'm talking nothing was spared. And it's still, there's a lot of background noise. It is still a problem. And I take care of one thing, and it's something else. It is, and now it's like Spreaker just says, well, and you know, you're off air. But it's not that we're kicked offline. We're kicked off Spreaker, which causes
I'm just reading a thing on sound that
you're too far away from your mic.
I was just reading something where it says sounds are produced by quick backward and forward movements or vibrations of an object. When an object moves, it disturbs the molecules in air around it and causes them to vibrate. The vibration travels through the air and is heard as sound. The greater the vibration, the louder the sound. As sound travels, the energy of that vibration slowly wears out and the sound fades away. They're saying sound, like light, travels in waves. So right. It is the same as you saying a wave becoming a particle. It's the same thing through sound. The movement of the molecules in sound waves causes alternating patches and tightly bunched molecules called compressions and loosely spaced molecules called rarefactions. These are shown in graphs as wave-like figures with crests and troughs or ups and downs. Sound is measured by its wavelength, period, amplitude, and frequency. Very interesting.
That is interesting. I'm going to...
This is a children's reference science and technology book.
Children's, huh?
Yeah, I got it to teach myself everything. For dummies. Sound for dummies.
That's a good idea. Gosh, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I had him. I raised two boys, so.
Yep. Sometimes those children's books. I mean, they really do the job. I mean, they really can.
So wavelength is the distance from one trough or crust to another. It's like when you say when material things become from a wavelength into particle.
Right.
So it's the same thing. It could be going back and forth through a trough of up and downs that we can't see, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm... This is crazy. This is crazy.
Sorry, trying to make you not so upset.
No. I know. I
I know
know.
you're.
I know. I picked
This
up on
is
that.
so much
Thank
for
you. Thank
you.
you.
I
Thank you.
know.
Thank you. That's sweet. Uh, I'm I'm not even really mad.
You just worked hard. I
It's
know.
it's just who in their right mind can say, well, it just happens. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. This is the third or fourth time this has happened. This should have been our most successful month, our biggest month ever, and because of everything that's taken place, uh, it's probably going to be our lowest. And it's like, I apologize to everybody because I know when you're listening to a show and you have crappy sound, you have crappy audio, and which that was taken care of. Then my hard drive burned up on my laptop, and we're still having a lot of background noise
Me.
from your phone, like you're moving, um, like you're dragging it across bottles or something. I have no idea, but it is well. Thank you, Mona, but it it's it's not my fault, and I've done everything I can to you know make it to where there's no problem on my end or anyone else's end. But when Spreaker kicks me off, and yeah, it sounds like you are like sucking your fingers. I mean, really,
What?
it sounds like you're
Really?
sucking your fingers. Yes, it's just
Oh my gosh.
it is. I have no idea what it is.
I'm not doing that.
And it is but it's
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do
I
that.
know that people that are listening, when the show drops, they move on. I mean, most people do. And it's like, the first few times that this happened, I mean, there was like 10 12, I don't know, 14 live listeners. By the time I got back, no one, and you know what, I don't blame them. Because if you can't listen to a show in its entirety without it being kicked off Spreaker, then yeah. So this is really, really not a good situation. And I'm actually paying for this, so I'm buying this. I'm buying this misery. And if Spreaker can't do something about it, then I'm going to another platform completely. Yeah, big loss to them, right? I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I'm not making threats.
No.
I'm just saying that enough's
It's
enough.
very easy. I see how you've gone up and even just in search engine wise, searching for your show. I've seen how you've gone up in popularity. I don't have to type stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, more, I'm not talking about tailored to me and my activity, but actually from different venues.
I think it's so cool that hey, Jacob, thank you for coming back. I think it's so cool whenever I do like a Google search for the Texas Live. My name is next to Joe Rogan's name. Oh man.
Oh, you told me that.
I'm serious. Well, I even sent you a picture. I was so proud of it. Yeah, my name is next to Joe Rogan's name. I'm serious. Yeah, Mona says stop. I'm serious. It's Joe Rogan, Shane Moore. I'm serious.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it either. I'm like, wow, this is great. I mean, big time. I mean, we're talking Joe Rogan. I could sit down and really talk to him. I mean, that's another.
And he didn't. And in the end, he didn't think there were aliens. He was more worried about viruses. what I would.
Well, I think I would be right there with him, really. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. But back to morphic resonance. Oh, okay. You said I was correcting a typo. You showed me about Joe Rogan. Yeah. Okay.
How come I'm not getting this? Is that in the comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. Interesting. But it's saying it is playing.
Are you on live?
Yeah, it says I am.
Okay, we'll type something.
Let's see.
Because really weird things going on tonight. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
The same thing in my search engine on my computer is absolutely completely different when I did the Google search in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It just will always go up to on top, which is
We're
driving me crazy.
We're just trying to, figure out if she's not on live, which...
Did you get it? I said hello?
No, nothing.
No.
Okay, but you're coming through loud and clear.
So it's the last show that I'm getting when I get on there, not the live show, probably.
Okay, well, then close out and go.
Do it again.
Well, I sent you the link, the live link.
Let's see if it does it.
Oh,
there you are. I got it now. It says Joe, the last thing.
yeah, okay. But, yeah, so please.
On the last show?
Please just, Mona can attest that I've done everything, we've done everything, Sue Ellen's done everything. I mean, we've spent hours and hours and hours, and then it's something else. So now Spreaker is kicking us off, and that's just not acceptable after everything we've been through and worked through. No. I will go. I will get a soapbox, and that they can't kick me offline. They kick me off the soapbox, but I'll get back on it. Anyway, so with the electric and the magnetic domains, you have the electric, the brain, which is the mind. You have the heart, which is the magnetic, the infrared, which is love. So those two together, like I've said time and time again through the shows. And by the way, we're up to 89 shows now. Next show will be our 90th show. So I have said over and over and over that the key to enlightenment is bringing heaven to earth, but it is raising heaven above earth. It is raising the heart above the mind. And this goes right along with that theory that that the brain is mind stuff. The heart is love stuff. And there's the mind, the brain, the heart, the overmind, and then there is the being stuff, the supermind, which is the cosmological perspective, the frequency domain, the transcendent sense, aka enlightenment, that is outside of the space-time continuum. Which is amazing, because when you're outside the space-time continuum, where are you? Well, it would be a type of hyperspace, really.
And what if they're stealing memories from us? I remember there was a movie like that. And they
Oh,
were,
yeah,
and
there's
they,
been several.
you would go and you would trade things, experiences they wanted to feel. Like they wanted to be there and feel your juices, exactly, like more vivid than virtual reality. It's being there and feeling it with the same adrenaline as the person. And people would get highs on that. So, but people needed money, so they would do it,
So,
you know,
so
like
are,
giving blood.
oh, okay, like giving blood, but you're not talking like adrenochrome, are you?
Well, that's what they say. It's the adrenaline that people get high off of.
Yeah, that is, yeah, when
through,
somebody's killed
being
and, or,
through people dying of terror, animals
right, and
dying of terror.
that's something I cannot stand. I mean, Mona, she can tell you that, um, like Sarah McLachlan. I mean, I used to like her. I hate her now because of her SPCA. Where she comes on with the dog in the snow on the chain. I'm like, you just ruined my day. You know, I cannot stand you, woman. Why? Why do you do that? Just come on and don't have the picture, don't have the video of the dog that's been beaten. I mean, you really, really ruined my day. I mean, and that sticks with me for a long, long time. And it's like, there's been people on Facebook, and they, I mean, I'm all for helping dogs. I mean, we've got 2 rescues.
Well,
I mean, I'm all for it.
right.
But don't post the damn pictures and go into detail about, the torture and things that these dogs and cats have been through. I don't want to hear it. I know it goes on, and I'm all for it, but hey, I can't take it, And
Well, if that's you, maybe you're the one who needs to change it and bring light to it.
well, I do.
Maybe that's your cause.
Like I said, well, one of my causes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and but the way I deal with it is like a 12 gauge slug in the back of the head. That's
Hey,
me.
but you know what? Hey, but I say having the death penalty, you're just creating more serial murderers.
Well,
People can't handle the things that we require them to do.
I would
Especially
say,
the guys that have to work in the slaughterhouses and
yeah,
aren't raised
yeah.
stably.
Well, I mean, it's a different. It's a different. They were raised different. I mean, they were brought up, and totally different. They would probably look at some of the things that we do as strange, or they probably don't even think twice about it. But it is amazing what we can become accustomed to, and
Right.
But it's also very frightening. I mean, but
What
yeah.
Yeah, Jacob said like possession.
Yeah, exactly. And oh my God, I mean, I have seen things online that literally, I mean, they have literally, like, almost scarred my mind. I mean, as far as abuse and things like, oh, don't even get me started. I mean, I will go off on a Mike Tyson on steroids, rabies tangent like you've never heard. I can't take it. And I'm serious. I could blow their brains out. Someone that has beat a dog or has killed a dog or something like that, I could blow their brains out and never think twice about it and walk away with a smile on my face. You may call me crazy, but then, I guess I'm crazy, but I'm serious. Anyone that would beat a dog or a helpless animal or anything helpless to death, just for kicks, hell with them. Thank God that I'm not God, because I would send you to hell. One way ticket, no get out of jail free. So anyway, enough of that. Okay, so the with the Jordan River being kind of a metaphor for the spinal fluid and moving through the chakras, ask yourself, what could be other, what could be some of the other metaphors that are, that are true, but it's they also mean something else. And it's just this. You're taught Jesus was taken to Golgotha, a place of the skull. Mm-hmm. Yes, but it's the skull in you. It's your skull.
Right. They did that in Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, he was afraid of skull. But it was really, they had to explain to him it was skull, not skull.
The Ark of the Covenant is in your head. It is literally in your head, and I know that I've talked about that before, but it's it is the mercy seat is called the it's Latin for mercy seat. The I always get this wrong. The telos circus, or and I'm sending that to you, Sue Ellen. It is literally in your head. Also, it looks very much like a butterfly, which there you have the monarch, programming, but it's very.
Things have a. What do they say? Things have a 7-layered meaning.
Some have much. I mean, some have endless meanings.
Yeah, it's a 7-forked tongue or something. I'm just trying to remember the thing with 7.
Well, you have the seven systems of the body, which is what Solomon's temple was based on.
7 continents.
7 continents. 7 is a big number. I mean, yes.
7 days of the week.
Absolutely. And for the longest time, you had 7 planets. So, yeah.
What you could see with what the 7 structures you could see with your eye.
Mm-hmm.
They included the moon as a planet.
Yep, it is.
But imagine if people live as far back as they say. I mean, unless it's all fake, and there's no footprints with dinosaur tracks or anything like that. But can you imagine a time if people did live there when they were so close to things that just from a strong enough magnet they can propel themselves places like the moon?
Right. Well, it's
they might be able to trade with Martians.
Yeah, possibly. There have been people that were the remote viewers, like Ingo Swann. If you want to look up somebody that I mean, this guy, if there was ever somebody that could really remote view, it was Ingo Swann. And then you have the guys from Project what was it, Grill Flame, the U.S. Army, that were part of the remote viewing project, and they said that they spent millions of dollars, but they didn't. They spent all that money, but they didn't find anything. It didn't work, so they scrapped it. You know what that means? it means it worked. They just went under. They went underground with it. They don't want people to know about it. And you look, don't look at Ed Dames. I mean, that guy, Ed Dames, yeah, he lost his mind. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not talking bad about the guy, but he lost his mind.
Wasn't there a movie where a person, or there's a movie called Ant-Man where they could control ants? One of those superhero.
Yeah. I think that's been recent. But
imagine
Ant-Man,
if there was people on some kind of subatomic basis that could do stuff like that.
Well,
have control of nature or particles, and it was part of the microbes that they were talking about, like you said, Aleister Crowley, when they were doing those experiments.
Get this. Ed Dames was on Art.
He said 789. That's so funny. Jacob said I used to say that. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 789.
Oh, man. I was sitting here reading that, and I'm like, I don't get it. But the deal with Ed Dames is he, started out as a remote viewer, and he was friends with Art Bell, and
so he said.
and he would go on Art show and would talk about all kinds of stuff, and then comes up, and the guy remote views Lucifer and Satan, and
no way. I never heard that. That is not true, is it?
Ed Dames claims to have remote viewed Lucifer and Satan, and he was never the same since. Okay, whether or not,
what did he say?
He really didn't say anything about it. He said it was too, maybe it was a publicity stunt, but whatever happened, it did not work in his favor. If it was a publicity stunt, I don't know what the hell it was, but it did not work out for him. And he said that it was so horrific that it changed him, and he was never the same. Hell, he still, like I said, he lost his mind. He's the guy that you see you see running around, shaking their head yes, and nobody's asking him anything. It's like, whoa, the guy really, really lost it. So anyone out there that's thinking about remote viewing Satan or Lucifer, you might want to take a break and just reevaluate that, because whether or not that entity actually exists, I believe that because Ed Dames believed it did, that his worst nightmares, his worst fears were probably met, and were manifest, and that's what he experienced. And he was probably saying, damn, how does it know everything about me? Well, that's just Satan. Well, Ed, you went into this looking for what? For Satan or for Lucifer. And when you go into something looking for something, pretty much going to find it, You're going to find what you're looking for. So, and if you don't, then what happens? Your mind fills it in. Your mind does it for you. And he said it was beyond anything that, and like I said, he never was the same. Now,
my father had a friend that went and did that with Tai Chi, and he said he literally saw what he believes was the face of Satan, and it scared him very much, and he went back to the church.
Well, my view on that is
my mother told me
I think
that
Satan has many faces.
My mother told me she did the Ouija board with 2 of her friends, and they're all dead except for her. They both died.
Well,
like his kids.
I've been been around people, playing with Ouija boards, and they're like, I don't know what the deal is. It's not working. Oh, it stopped working when you came in. I'm like, well, okay. I'll take that as a yeah. I wear that with pride. Yes. So I don't know why, but yeah, they don't work. Now, I'm not saying that to say they never will. Hell, I could walk in the next time and one flap and hit me in the head or something. But
What?
Ouija board.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just going to hit air because I'll just dodge it, Or if it does hit me, it's just going to break. Yeah, the first rule about making a deal with the devil is don't do it.
Did you watch the show Strange Things?
No, I watch most of those demonic shows to make fun of them, but lately I haven't been making fun of them because they're so damn. I mean, they are so in tune with like the real thing, with the real rituals and the real. I'm not even talking about Satanism. I'm talking about the left-hand path, if you want to call it that.
Well, Anthony LaVey was cited as saying he wouldn't even let his kids watch television.
And Anton LaVey, Church of Satan, 1966. Yes. Yeah. And listen, Anton LaVey was a showman. His yes, like Sabrina, man, that show.
That redhead or whatever. Oh, the Sabrina. Oh,
the new
show.
one. The new one.
I started watching it and then I stopped.
The new
to do
one.
It when I worked out.
I told Mona was watching it, and I watched it because I was sitting there and I could not believe. I mean, they are using actual demons' names. They're not using made-up names. They are using. Yes, they took an actual demonic statue from a satanic church and used it for their show. They did, and they're being sued for it. And there's a lawsuit. Okay, but get this. They don't just use names that are close to. They use the actual names. Now, with me, I try not to say a demon's name because that gives them power. It draws them to you, so to speak. It's just like
if you don't have a name, you don't have any power over it.
That's right. Well, to some extent. I mean, yeah, you really don't.
I'm thinking I guess I'm thinking too of Game of Thrones, the man of many faces.
Well, this is how I look at it. Is if I don't know your name and you're walking in a crowd, I can say, "Hey, you brunette," talking to Mona, turn around, or you Sue Ellen, blonde, not your name, but hey, you blonde, you're not going to turn around. You're going to keep walking. But if I know your name, all I have to do is say your name, and you're going to turn around. And there you go. That's the hook. And it is that's all it takes. That's all it takes is for you to turn around, because what really gets you, that's right, Jacob. Names are very powerful, and I have had them give me their names backwards, sideways, every way you can think of, and they love to jumble they love anagrams.
Mm.
and I have had them do it through, different people. Not all the time. I mean, it's rare, but I have had them do it to where no one that I know of, you would have to be a savant to speak these words the way they do. And I'm not talking pig Latin or, things like
Pig
that.
Latin.
I'm talking very, very constructed, and it's haphazard. It's and they're very proud of it. Just cackle laughing. They want you to know. They love to show off. I mean, once the mask is down, and we've talked about this, Sue Ellen, about are they demons or is it advanced technology? And I know that we have once again veered off topic, but so be it. There's a reason for this. Maybe there's somebody out there that needs to hear this, but
But maybe it all ties in too.
Right. But is it in fact demons? Is it? And I don't really like the word demons because you can walk into a room, and I've done it. You walk into a room, you can hear people talking about ghosts, phantoms. You can talk about shadow people. You can even talk about the Hat Man. You can talk about everything, incubus, succubus. But you mention the word demons, and people start looking for the door. People,
The more you look at something, the more you see it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I don't go looking for them. I don't. And most people that have called me or that have come to me, they didn't have a demon. It was not demonic. It was them.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but what better way? And I'm just being truthful. I'm not talking necessarily about anybody that I have helped recently in the last few years. This has been years ago. When you do something wrong, when you do something bad, or you, not so much you do it, you get caught. What do? You blame it on the devil. That's the easiest, the easiest thing to do is, well, the devil made me do it. Or,
That's,
the
the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And this is really right.
That makes Capricorn the devil and a scapegoat. That's what my dad was.
Demon, low vibration entity. Yes.
And he's up too.
I prefer interdimensional entity. But get this. There have been reports since I don't know, like the early 50s, maybe even like 1967. John Keel said that he was convinced that demons were interdimensional entities that were based on, get this, a very advanced technology. Because when he was receiving the phone calls from the mysterious Indrid Cold, it was a very metallic sounding voice, like a computerized voice. But it knew what he was doing. In his hotel room, it would say, you have your keys there on the nightstand, or
Oh, jeez.
much more thing. It really freaked John Keel out. And John Keel was John Keel in my book was a badass. I mean, there wasn't much that shook him up.
I was never scared. I did my peace with darkness until I met you.
Did your peace with darkness? What are you talking about?
With being in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Scared of the dark until I met you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't take not many things. I could watch any kind of movie and go right to bed. and not even look and be in the house by myself. But yeah, you have spooked me.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that you were no longer afraid. Well, now I've spooked
No,
you.
like in a, okay, we'll have it, make it a fun movie, spooking.
Well,
Um,
it's
and I found a movie called Mothers of Darkness, by the way.
yes. Well, that's
Oh.
that's probably based on the Mothers of Darkness castle in Belgium.
Yes.
Look that up and tell me if that's not creepy. And
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
the movie The Exorcist was based on a true story. 1949, Mount. It's been said Mount Rainier, Washington. It was actually Silver Springs, Maryland.
That's 1949, correct?
Yes,
1949.
very good. 1949, and I know the young man's name. And last I checked, he's still alive. He worked for NASA. He went on to be successful, have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and worked for NASA. And I know his name. I have seen him. And there's nothing, there is nothing that is, you would never know. But they have, called him, they have contacted him, and he refuses to speak to anyone. Now, the priest that was actually in charge of that exorcism.
I thought he died.
Oh yeah, he died. He died in '83. Was a Jesuit, and William Peter Blatty talked to him or contacted him and said, would you be willing to talk to me? Would you be willing to sit down and do an interview? And he said no. He said, but I will tell you this. He said, what I experienced with that boy was the real deal. And he says, and that's all I have to say. Well, there are many things surrounding that movie that are creepy. I mean, really, really creepy. And
Really?
do not watch that movie unless you have a strong spiritual base. Now, I will also say...
And repeat that for people. What is that movie again?
The Exorcist, 1973.
Okay, the year I was born.
Linda Blair. In Italy, when that movie came out, when that movie premiered, it was the day after Christmas, I believe. If not Christmas Day, I think it was the day after Christmas. And there were people that were they were wrapped around the block, waiting to see The Exorcist, because it was, let's face it. What is it, 45 years later? That movie...
I heard that was a psyop, too, to see how people reacted, and people actually had a heart attack, just like people did when they watched a Passion of Christ movie.
There were people that were vomiting. There were people that were going into hysterics. There were people that were
There's another
running,
movie
saying
that's
they were
on
possessed.
Netflix. There was another movie on Netflix that actually did that to people, made people throw up and stuff, and about this person and some kind of evil or like murder, but they have diarrhea that shows them throwing up. It shows a lot of gross stuff.
Most of those.
So listen to this, Shane. I just want to tell you something.
Sure.
According to Mothers of Darkness. So according to Fritz Springmeier, the Illuminati practice a religion that is very ancient and heavy with hidden occult practices, especially in the higher recesses of the religion. They are governed by a very powerful woman called the Mothers of Darkness. Of women, they are governed by very powerful women called the Mothers of Darkness.
Right. And
That's from Fritz Springmeier. He's saying it's women, and I watched a TV show like that where they busted a sex slave trade ring.
yes,
But it was the woman that was in charge.
yes, yes.
The one that they
Matter of fact,
the guy had no idea.
look on YouTube, Mothers of Darkness, Castle or whatever, and there is a you have to search it if you can stomach it. I mean, it's really, really, it's nothing that is like really gruesome, but it's just the premise. There is a young boy that is running away from that castle, and there's people that are chasing him, and they catch him and they bring him back. God only knows what took place. I mean, but yeah, that is really something. Now you take that with the female, and you take the equivalent, the male, which is the Pendar, which is supposedly in southwestern France, that you could be sitting next to this guy and you would never know that he's like the top of the pyramid, so to speak, as far as that goes. Now, Ted Gunderson, the FBI guy that was in charge of the task force for satanic ritual abuse and ritualistic murder and this and that.
What was his name again?
Ted Gunderson. He's dead now, but I know the name. But the guy was really sincere, and he actually said as far as the children, this was in California. This was the Franklin daycare centers, that.
I have some stories.
And he said that what they said, that many people said, oh, they're making this up. Well, Ted Gunderson, bless his heart, I mean, my hat's off to him. He's one of my heroes. He said, I'm going to check this out. And he did. And what he found was exactly
that movie scared me, Jacob.
What these children described.
Terrified.
They described maglev trains underneath the cities that would go like, I don't know, 200, 300 miles an hour maybe, and would take these children from the daycare to these sites, and some were flown by helicopter into mountainous regions where excuse me, where they would partake in satanic rituals. And he said, whether or not you believe that there's a literal devil or a literal Satan, he said, it doesn't matter. He said, what matters is they believe it. And that's something that is very, very powerful. It does not matter if a literal Satan exists. What matters is they believe that a literal Satan exists. And that's big time, And the Franklin daycare, kids that are like 2-3 years old. I mean, I don't know how old a kid is when they start talking, but when they describe everybody getting naked and laying on top of each other with the teachers and things like that, yeah, there's something going on. There's something not right. And then they talk about like trap doors on the floor. Ted Gunderson went and checked, and he found these trap doors, and there were like ladders going down to these tunnels, and it's like,
oh my
what?
God,
it's like what?
That game. It's like that game, Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? I mean, and those that say, well, it's just an overactive imagination. Listen, get your head out of the sand. There's something going on, and it's been going on for many, many years. many generations. I mean, you look at the Bohemian Grove. I mean, you have
under the sun.
You have men that are supposed to be, leading this country. I mean, powerful politicians, powerful media moguls like Merv Griffin. He's dead now, but these powerful people. George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Dick Cheney. You have all these people. Kathy O'Brien talked about them at the Bohemian Grove. Her and her daughter, she said, were taken there to be used as sex slaves, and she said that they were, they were running around in the woods naked.
I have a story because I didn't know. I didn't know, and to the extent because however I learned to, block my experiences. But we had a friend. She had a baby. This girl was so beautiful. I mean, she could be on any magazine she wanted, okay? And she had a baby girl, in high school, whatever. Shot herself in the head. Mm. The idea of her raising a girl like in the, system, I think it was too much.
Right. And
I know many girls made very similar, decisions. There's crazy stuff out there.
And with Kathy O'Brien, I think her daughter's name is I forget her name, but anyway, she said that
did she go out and speak too?
Yes, her name is Kelly. And
I think maybe you can be attacked in your dreams, Jacob, but I think it's more electronic. Shane, you think it's what? It's both, right?
Well, I think that truthfully, I think that it is an advanced technology that we mistake for being, paranormal. It's just like Arthur C. Clarke said. He said an advanced technology, he said, that is not understood, he said, will always be called magic, or to be called, paranormal, or, voodoo, whatever,
right.
He said it's,
Exactly.
And that's right. I mean, if people can't explain it, then it has to be, to be something.
But thoughts are things, and things create other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, the whole thing is to learn to control them. And, since we are made of 99 empty space, we have a lot of room to wiggle in there, but somehow we've been manipulated not to understand how energy works. Not even in electricity. Our kids don't know. My kids don't know. Okay, how does electricity? Explain it to me.
Mm-hmm.
How does explain radiation versus, some other kind of form. But those kind of questions, I know a lot of people don't even know or understand that kind of stuff. They just rely on technology.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is definitely something that it is, like you said, Jacob, being attacked in your dreams, sleep paralysis. Now, that could be something that is, normal, but it's not normal when you wake up and there's, like 12
They tell us that the paralysis
people.
is to keep us from acting out our dreams in reality and hurting somebody or doing something. That's what they tell us the evolutionary purpose is, but did they find something else out and they never shared the rest with, with us? Or?
Well, they're not going to either. Especially with the recent, and I'm talking, 2017, Geordie Rose from D-Wave and CERN talking about, oh yeah, there's a swarm coming. They're very advanced and they view humans just like we view ants. They don't care about us. And it's like,
well, if there is some kind of entity that is coming that is here to balance everything so that Earth survives.
yeah,
And
well,
it
they're
just,
not here to balance.
and if it just blows us away, I mean, that could be absolutely plausible because they say we're at like 7.7. How many people in the Earth? Is it 7?
Yeah, something like 7.7 billion. But I don't buy that. I mean, there's
But
plenty
they
of
say that
room.
the Earth can only withstand from 9 to 10.
Well,
Scientists.
we'll see. See, that's something that I disagree with. I think there's plenty of room.
Well, why isn't shit cleaned up then? The cancer rates. What are they not telling us?
Well, cancer makes money. Treating
Do you
cancer
really-
makes money.
Do you want to know what I believe it is?
Sure, go ahead.
Cancer is? The scientists fucked up with the atomic bombs. Now there's so much radiation that people are going to die, and certain people, certain things are going to die off for 50,000 years.
Well,
For some for 25,000 years, some for 100 years.
well, they
Radiation.
talked about that.
That's
Talked
what
about,
causes cancer. Yeah.
Right. They talked about tests that were performed over the U.S. To do just that, to study how people would react to cancer and who would get it and who didn't, and
Right.
it's the same.
And radiation on people, those were part of the MK Ultra or underground experiments they performed on people.
Mm-hmm.
Was radiation cancer.
Yeah. I mean, there's some nasty. I mean, there's some bad things that have gone on, and a lot of suffering just to see
that we know of.
Right. It's what we don't know.
Right.
It's what we haven't been told that's really spooky, really creepy. But anyway,
like we need the right question. That's what you say.
Right. Absolutely. And but the question, the answer is in the question. I mean, always has been. Questions tell us more than answers ever do, and so keep asking the questions, and because that's where you're going to find your answer, and it's I mean,
but we also want to find our answer.
well, and I believe that we will. If I didn't think that we would, then I wouldn't waste my time. But
Right.
it's
Right.
yeah, and it's a really sad fact that cancer. They're talking about. Well, we want to find a cure for cancer. No, you don't. You don't. There are some people that really do, but those that really do, they're shut down, and God forbid that they ever find a cure. They're going to be killed or suicided, and probably fixing to get kicked off again. Yeah, and just like David Kelly. Look up David Kelly. Suicided David Kelly. Read that. I mean, that is really.
Well, wasn't there this huge string of deaths of health doctors?
Yeah, and David Kelly was one of them.
David Kelly,
really sad, and it was in the same vein as Danny Castellero, and very mysterious circumstances, and it it just doesn't make sense. But David Kelly, I believe, was a biologist, microbiologist or something like that, and he came upon.
It says David Kelly, Christopher Kelly was a Welsh scientist and authority on biological warfare employed by the British Ministry of Defence and formerly a weapons inspector from the United Nations Special Commissions in Iraq.
That's him.
Wow.
Yeah, and he
died on July 17th, 2 days before my birthday. Everything crappy always happens on my birthday. It's
not really.
Yes. July 19th, yes. Do you know who I share my birthday with?
Who?
Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden. Well.
Yeah.
Well.
Great.
What was it? 49 wax.
Well, you know what, her family, if they're anyone like mine, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, who's that guy? This is the best tasting pickle I ever had. He was like the first one that got people like betting on ages.
Now they're saying that she wasn't guilty, so who knows? I mean, you know, there's now they're saying that she wasn't guilty. That
so explain the story. Explain it.
I have no idea. I'm just saying that that's what they're saying, that she didn't do it. And I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know. I really haven't researched that much, but
okay.
But until I do, I'm not going to say much on it. But yeah. But anyway, we have gone another hour. And it's like 2.5 hours that we've gone tonight, so I think we're going to call it a night. Are there any questions or comments that you want to? In closing, Jacob, you say that you're always running and hiding from something. There's always a group of people that are depending on you for some reason to keep them from getting caught by whatever is hunting us. The monsters aren't always the same. Sometimes it's zombies, sometimes humans, and once it was a giant lizard.
I had some crazy lizards in my dream, or iguanas.
Yeah, I've had those. Say I never have nightmares. I'm never afraid of my dreams. And as far as the sleep paralysis, until recently, it has always happened upon waking. The last 2 times it started to happen as I was falling asleep. Okay. Maybe
sleep
we need to do...
happens when you go in REM.
Maybe we need to do another show on sleep paralysis and the Hat Man and shadow people.
Ooh, Jesus! And then we have to look at your Hat Man.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm the good Hat Man. The Hat Man versus the Hat Man.
Good Hat Man.
So yeah.
Hat Man.
Throw up the sign in the night sky. The Hat Man. So,
I am Robin. Okay.
Right. So my theory is I would consider a rumble with the Hat Man. That's my idea of a good time. So yeah, and yeah. So Hat Man, if you're there, you know, if you're listening to the show, Hat Man, you know, come on, bring a sack lunch because you're going to be here for a while.
You got my heart pounding now.
Why?
Because I started thinking about scary movies like Insidious.
Oh,
like we were talking about the other night.
Insidious with that clown face.
Just they have accurate displays. They have some really good ones out here. Not the slasher ones, but the ones that have come out, like about how beating energy, that have your basic, you know, good overcoming evil. But they really kind of tell you how that kind of world works. Going
into the further or the farther, whatever she calls it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those are good. Yeah.
There's a reason why in the military Morse code is there. You know, when in that movie or that show that's on Netflix that I was talking about, that one, the mom had to actually learn those kind of letters because that's how her son was communicating from the other world.
Yeah, and see, that's what I say. Is that is
You had to say respond that way.
that is people's greatest weakness is. And good night, Elaine. Thanks for being here.
Good night, Elaine. Thank you.
It's we want our loved ones that have died, passed on. We want them back so
we
bad.
We want to feel them around us, to feel that they have lived beyond.
But I'm not being negative or anything, but really think about it. I mean, if you have passed on to a greater plane, why would you come back to this plane?
What if you're stuck? What if you are stuck in this plane because that's all you know?
I don't.
And if you go too far, you start getting blown all around in a way that makes you have to come back.
Well, maybe so, but I just cannot. I just cannot see someone getting stuck.
What about What Dreams May Come?
Well, that was a movie. Well, yeah. I mean, I love the premise of the movie, but as far as reality, there's some things about that movie that I think are very spot on.
You don't think you see your loved ones.
What now?
When you die, you don't think you see your loved ones when you die.
No, well, maybe when you die you do, but like as far.
I mean, there's some people that like tell people like what you say, but then they also say stay away from the light. It's a trap. So there's a lot of different theories out there now. Well, I was very surprised.
It's it's like I had I've had dreams to where it's I thought it was my grandmother, or
really
well it looked like her, but I knew that it wasn't her because there will always be something different, always some little something that's different.
So why did it trick me with my husband and not with a loved one ever that has died? What I really want.
I have no idea.
I always wonder that.
Maybe
that's the greatest thing, like Houdini. I didn't learn to know that Houdini spent his whole life debunking people that claim their experiences were real, but he had an experience in the Winchester house or something, or one of those houses where he could not explain it, and he left it completely open. He debunked like everything.
Yeah, exactly.
He had an experience he cannot explain,
and he said that he would come back if it was possible on Halloween, and his wife, she held seances every Halloween, and he never came back. I mean,
see, but just how they say that, like in the pyramids, people can move things with thoughts, and they talk about like Aleister Crowley or people beyond that, whoever, all the people, but they talk about them in the macrobes. And these entities and these things like that, and looking at things in the magnifying glass, and I think that they had like techniques to tame like diseases. Monks did. They learned about it because they didn't teach people. It's keep them busy working. The longer you stop and look at something, the more you see.
Right.
But what happens is you got to choose what you want. People start getting absolutely blown away that don't have an anchor.
Right.
So it's like everybody's got to better find where their anchors really are. Because I mean, I think the time is coming where the tech is coming here, the space race they talk about, the race to 5G, the race in technology, the human race. all this stuff on ancestry, who owns who, that everything really needs to be, people from both sides, every which way, up and down, need to be coming together to understand this, and what all this tech means, and,
Absolutely.
and what we're, entitled to. I think we're in almost like we're in a dream world where.
Well, it could be a dream within a dream. And that would, yes, Mona. That movie's great, but a lot of falsehoods.
Like which movie?
What dreams may come. What I saw that was actually true about it was how the
the
people,
romance, damn it.
Well, that's what I liked about it, was the romance. I mean, he was willing to stay in hell with her, out of love, and that's what set her free. But
it's because it takes two or more.
But the truth is remember how people appeared to be someone else, like it was really his son, but it didn't look like his son, didn't act like his son, and it had to tell him, I'm your son, and then there were some others, and Jacob, you say if you're communicating with someone from the other side, chances are it's not what you think.
Experiences with his daughter.
Yes, I think so.
Showed how she was the sexy stewardess. Wanted to be recognized by her father.
Yes. But that's, that is a good movie, but I just, but The Exorcist, that is, they actually went to Iraq, to the actual place where King Nebuchadnezzar is buried. They went to the forbidden city of Nineveh, the actual city, and what you see in that movie, that's real. I mean, those are real carvings, not Pazuzu, which is a demon, but what you see the birds, you see the eagles, those are real, and that is some really, really powerful. That's Babylon.
Is that why we use the eagle?
I believe so. Well, there's a reason. There's definitely a reason. But
we can misinterpret the most important document that could save the entire world. But buddy,
But anyway, well, we are past. We're at an hour 15 minutes, and we were at an hour and a half. So we're going on 3 hours.
At least it stayed on.
Yeah. Thank you all for taking part.
For all the patience.
Mona, Jacob, Elaine, Nazreen, everybody, Patricia, and those of you that didn't take part in the live chat, thank you for listening. I know you were there, so thank you for listening, and I hope that you'll continue to. We hope you'll continue to. And again, I'm going to send Spreaker an email. Can't call them, but I'm going to send them an email about this as soon as we get through here, and maybe have you
people
chime in.
Complain.
Maybe have you chime in, Sue Ellen and Mona, and just let them know that getting kicked off Spreaker is just not. It's not good. I mean, we're not getting kicked off.
And I'm constantly bumped off myself. So, and then I'm not allowed to get on, and then I have to push pause a whole bunch of times and play before I can get it going.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's different platforms. I'm not going to name them, but And just
a
so
time may come when
yeah,
you start naming.
absolutely. Just so everyone knows, the website is up for the podcast show, The Texturcist, and it's just a matter of time that that we can go to it, and I just haven't had time to add things to it, but it's going to be awesome. Let me see if they've got it set up yet. And
Good night, Jacob.
okay, they do. So I'm going to give you the website to our new. I'm going to give you the domain name to our new website. It's www.texturcist-podcast.com. And like I said, haven't had time to really set things up, but we're going to have an embedded player. We're going to have a blog where Sue Ellen's going to write different things, her thoughts, stories. I'm going to do the same, possibly. And we can add videos.
I really want to state it also all goes on everybody here, too, because, everybody that's here right now is the foundation.
Right.
I know I just stepped in. I'm just have this opportunity with Shane, and it's incredible. So.
Well, you're in like Flint, so yeah. So it is Radio Public, radiopublic.com, and you will visit them because they're who actually built the website, and they're awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome, and they have many podcast shows, but Keep the Texturcist is number one. But yes, Radio Public, and I will put their
no. Well,
name.
who are you saying to complain to?
Spreaker.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Just just send them. But Radio Public is out of Massachusetts, I believe Boston, if I'm not mistaken, and they are great. They're the ones that are that, like I said, built the website, and it is going to be awesome. So and
looking forward to it.
Please hit the like button on Spreaker if you enjoy the show.
Share
and you can leave us a message at the Texturcist Live website, or you can send us an email at the texturcistpodcast@gmail.com. Anyway, those of you that would like to contact us, please do so if you have any show ideas or basically anything. If you want to tell your story, if you've, just send us a message and let us know what's on your mind, and we will work with you and see what we can do. So anyway, yes, I'm so glad to see that they got that up, and our own domain name.
Yeah.
It's texturcist-podcast.com. And so anyway, Sue Ellen, any last words tonight?
No, I thought it was a great show. I'm just glad, it went through the second time around.
Oh,
and,
me too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
And glad I was getting tea while you were trying to figure it out. Your riffer-raffer.
Yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, well,
Thank you.
love and light to you all. Love you all. Good night.
Peace out.
Thank you, Mona.
Thank you, Mona.
And we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Out. Later.